In this video, let's take a tour of National World War I Museum and Memorial in Kansas City, Missouri. Let's go.
We just saw a whole bunch of folks in uniforms, and so I stopped one of the, sergeants and asked him, can we actually go in? Because we're not military, but apparently there was an event here, a ceremony to welcome a new commander or something like that. So if I get this fact right, and if you were here, you guys can put it in the comments, but we're gonna go in and show you guys the World War I Museum in Kansas City. From the parking area, you come up this walkway, walk down these steps. There's a nice reflection pool and the tower with Sphinx sculptures. We're gonna head into the purchase ticket.
So for general admission, the adult ticket is $18, which for us should be a total of $36. And for kids, under 5 is free, but our kids would be $10 each, which is $20 plus 36. So for the 4 of us, it's going to be $56. Okay, so we got our tickets and we got a visitor's guide for every one of us. Now we were told that they do have a scavenger hunt for the kids, so we'll see if we can do that. Now the lady did recommend us, because we are like always, we're short on time. We have like max 2 hours to spend in the museum. And we asked her what is something that we should focus on, what are the things that we shouldn't miss, and she recommended that we should go to the main gallery first. There is a 8 to 10 minutes introductory video that we should watch, because that would really set us up on what to expect and what to look for.
On the visitor guide, they have the poppy field, which is right underneath the bridge for the entrance. What does it represent, these poppies?
It represents all the people who died.
It represents all the people who died? Yeah, it is sad, but they gave their lives, and
For a cause.
yeah, and now we can remember them
With flower.
with flower and give them respect. You enter, and then there's a main gallery. 2 pieces. On the right-hand side is 14 to 17, and the left-hand side is 1917 to 1919. And then they also have the tower and a memorial courtyard. In this video, we're going to cover the main level primarily, and then we'll see if we have time to go to the lower level.
This is where I suppose is the introductory video that she recommended us to watch. This is a glass bridge that Isa is very reluctant to walk on.
All right, so we're going to go watch the video.
No one can say precisely why it happened, which may be in the end the best explanation for why it did. The 5 great powers of Europe, Great Britain, Russia, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and France, to compete globally. Germany needs military might.
Okay, so the video was fantastic. The first gallery right out the theater that you come out. The video is a must-watch. It really sets the stage of why World War I happened.
Before the World War I started, there were alliances among European nations which were used to do a secret military balance of power among all the nations. So by 1907, Europe was technically divided into 2 rival coalitions. Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy formed a triple alliance, and on the other side, Great Britain, France, and Russia formed an alliance.
And how Great Britain also became allies with Russia, and Russia was allies with Serbia, and Serbia and Hungary were at war, and so because of that, that just triggered a chain of events, and Germany got in because they were going, it's a complex reason. These are German soldiers, and these are some of the artifacts of the German soldiers. They have a cartouche box, a half-liter beer stein, a flask, a bugle, and a pipe.
Okay, so to your question, that the gaps between rich and poor, between Catholics and Protestants, between socialists, liberals, and conservatives, it at that time could be bridged by a common national loyalty, but nationalism also caused violent tensions and divisions. Stereoscope was used to view dual photographic images from around the world. So you have two of the same pictures side by side, and when you look through this glass, it would combine and give you one view as a third 3D.
So these were the Apple goggles.
At the time, yeah.
As you can see, this shows Europe in its height with a lot of people walking in, but if you keep walking, this is what war does. It's all rubble. So this is a great gallery that also recaps the movie that you just watched. And then there is a screen that shows the world at the brink of war. Okay, so that's France. All the red is Britain. Okay, so we are entering the galleries now. And the war is from 1914 to 1919. And they actually have different years listed out. And you can read all the events. You can see 1914, 1915, and so on and so forth. This is a museum of reading. There's tons of context. 65 million soldiers fought and 9 million of them died. The war involved 36 countries around the world, including United States, which sent 2 million men and women overseas. Although the guns fell silent on 1918, official peace didn't happen until the following year. 9 million people gave their lives because that one driver made that turn and one assassin chose to kill. 9 million. So Khizr pointed out this was the Belgian automatic pistol that was used to assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife. The one weapon and 2 bullets that really triggered World War I. Check out the cannon. Wow. We're checking out Hindenburg and his medals and uniform. This is a Russian Maxim model 1910 machine gun. Here's a collection of British, French, and German rifles and guns. You can also see the sniper perched with his rifle. And then they have displayed a lot of these cannons here. I just showed Khizr the mortar shell. So look how big that thing is. Alia's reading 1917 now, so there's a whole wall that goes 1915, 16, and 17. And I think by the end of 1970s, you get the full complete picture of the chain of events throughout the war. What I'm fascinated by is this little thing.
Anti-gas tube helmet.
Yeah.
This hypo helmet was the third development in the flannel cloth tube put into use in late 1915s. PH stand for the new anti-poison gas chemical which impregnated the mass.
So this is the German light machine gun, and then down below is German machine gun, MG08. Now this is the 1914 Austro-Hungarian field gun. I think a couple of chairs where people sit. This model from 1908 and beyond was manufactured by Belgians under German supervision during the occupation. It is marked with German military acceptance stamp. Okay, so they do have a wall of facts here, total war. It puts the whole war in perspective, especially for 1917, 1914, 1918. They're just mind-boggling. It says 1 out of 3 French men between the ages of 18 and 30 died by 1917.
33 number of German cities where food riots broke out in 1916 to protest rationing. 15,000 bombs a week produced by one British explosive factory by 175 women workers.
Next to this gallery is a little bit of dark gallery with interactive screens that you can touch and move some objects around and learn quite a bit. I mean, this is extremely well done. I'm completely blown away by the size of it and the use of technology. You can actually see the trenches. You can click and do some missions, so we can start sending some communication, and then you can see the actual war just being played out.
Not just the war, you can also see the methods of communication at the time. You have heliograph, which is using a mirror and light source that sends messages as flashes of light, and then you have a pigeon trained pigeons would carry messages back to their home roost, usually at headquarters. And then you have the telephones, which we are all familiar with. But the lines were fragile and they were easy to tap.
So there's a number of bayonets here. There's a different type of hand signals that you can read about. It's a pocket signal disc up top and photograph of a Turkish soldier with a field telephone. And here are a number of rifles also in the same gallery. So as you can see, the kids are quite taken by the interactive display.
They have these reflection booths where you can hear an audio from and original voices from the war era.
It shall not occur again. For America demands that the crime of war shall cease. America has a great
There are many reflection rooms where you can go and listen to the sounds of the First World War. So you can go sit there and just listen to the commentary. We were talking to somebody here that they put these displays in just a few weeks ago, these interactive displays. Drag a plane here.
You can bring this.
So you can read about the plane evolution, and then you can also compare the aircrafts. We've spent about an hour, and the kids have spent about 15 minutes just like hanging around here and checking out the ships, the trench warfare. Ali is checking out different planes, right, that you can just drag and then learn all about them. Okay, here's another machine gun. There are light machine guns, and one of them is on a Zeppelin.
This is a British naval
Quick-firing deck gun Mark
deck
III
gun.
from 1914. That's
Yes.
incredible. You can check out air warfare here. There are a couple of machine guns here as well. What an incredible job they have done with signage, labels. This one is a visual air war chart, kind of shows all the famous pilots. Captain René Fonck with 75 and Baron Reitmeister Manfred with 80. Kizar, did you read about that mine? What does it say? US made Mark IV, Model 1, dated April 17, 1917. Okay, so they also have a Whitehead torpedo here, marked with a red tip. Here's another view of that torpedo and the mine in the back. Check out all the newspaper clippings. U-boat climax may come today. Putting nations on war.
Has secretly offered to finance Mexico in a war against the United States. Within weeks, President Wilson asks Congress to declare war on Germany.
Nothing less than war against the United States.
They have another video in the back playing with this great display down below. They have a couple of soldiers down below and put a reflection light on them that shines on the screen. We got the tail end of that video. Now we're going into the second gallery, still on the first floor.
So now we have entered 1917. This is when the US declared war against Germany, and earlier doubts about entering the conflict gave way to an outpouring of an enthusiastic support, and this is within months the war effort transformed the nations, that all the Americans started rationing foods, started buying war bonds, worked longer hours, enlisted in the armed forces, and then industry switched to producing uniforms and weapons.
Alright, so Khizr was commenting, somebody did a really great job making this look like mud and like the water shine. So you can really see this horse carriage dragging what looks like some heavy equipment through mud. Yeah, this whole gallery is full of a lot of military uniform. You can see all these women uniform, American Red Cross. There's also a biplane hanging from the ceiling. So, there are waves of people who come in and out of this museum because of the different videos that are playing. So if one of the galleries is a little crowded, you can always just wait a little bit and then it becomes nice and empty all over again. Shiz, what do you think of the museum?
It's very cool, I think.
Very cool.
Found what you're looking for.
The tank. And then finally we are in this gallery. You can see these telephones, signal lights and signal guns, tiny parachutes. Check out the dagger, shotgun bullets. Look at all those daggers. And then you have a Browning machine gun. We actually saw a Browning in military museum, the 45th Infantry Museum in Oklahoma City. There was a Browning there. It's one of the largest collections of rifles and guns in the United States. This is called Over the Top. You can see the American soldiers 1.95, French is at 2.55, British soldiers 1.7, Germany 3.58.
This is just to give you a perspective of the size comparison, because one soldier represents 10,000 soldiers. So this is the French-made Renault FT-17 tank. Get an idea what the tank driver and gunner's viewpoint were through their eye slits. So if you looked at this, is what they would be able to see from the tank.
You can see the slit in the front of the tank. So that tiny slit is what the tank driver would see through, and they have recreated that here to give you some perspective of life in a tank.
Look, it's a French light tank, carried a crew of 2 driver and commander gunner. It was the first tank with a fully rotating turret and held a 37 mm gun or a 7.92 mm Hotchkiss machine gun.
A hand crank started the Renault FT-17's engine, and the original engine still survives in this tank. The vehicle traveled at top speeds of 8 miles per hour. Its gas tank held 22 gallons, and it made 1 mile per gallon. The driver had a clutch pedal and an accelerator paddle and a parking brake. He used a hand throttle to help control the speed. So here's a little bit of what it would look like if you're inside the tank with the driver and the gunner sitting in there.
During the fighting in the fall 1918, a German 77 mm artillery shell struck this tank in its left rear and pulled it out of service. The disabled tank found its way to the U.S. 2nd Motor Maintenance Regiment, 2nd Battalion Air Service mechanics who were repairing and salvaging tanks instead of airplanes.
So at the back of the tank, you can go here and you can check out the tank damage. So let's go check that out. You can actually see where the shell went through the 70 mm artillery piece, knocked the French tank out of action, and there is that damage in the back. So when we were researching what to do in Kansas City, we always do museums, so then it's good learnings for the kids and the adults. And this tank just popped up, and ever since Alia and I watched Fury, I have been fascinated by tank life, and to learn that in Kansas City is one of the first tank with a fully rotating turret. You had to come check this out. Especially this one is not a replica. This one was damaged by a German shell. So next to the tank battle is another display. You can see a crater. What happens when a bomb falls on a house? You can see a fruit basket, somebody's clothes, a door. There's also some hospital beds here. If you want to budget time, you can spend about 4 to 5 hours walking around this museum, and we're just on that very first floor. See all the medical kits and scissors that they use. See a vest of medicines that the nurses or doctors would wear. Now the museum has stats displayed everywhere. You can see American casualties, 365,000, 260,000 wounded, 54,000 died of disease, 50,000 killed in action, and 350 women in service who died. Total casualties for all countries, 29,800,700. Total died 8,364,700. Next to the French tank, is a very neat looking motorcycle. We went to the largest motorcycle collection in Alabama, so make sure you go check that video out. The museum also has a couple of classic automobiles. Here's a full look of the American field service wagon. Those I actually never figured out what those were. Are those grenades at the
Yes.
front of the
British rifle grenade.
at the front of the British rifle? So check out all these grenades here. We are used to World War II museums, so
Yeah.
when you look at this technology, this is World War One, and those 20 and 30 years makes a huge difference. It's still quite impressive of the amount of artifacts that are preserved in this quality. Again, thanks to this museum. Look at that beautiful Ford. Okay, so this is the portrait of General John J. Pershing. It was a commander of the American Expeditionary Forces. They also have these rooms set up, reflection rooms with a VR headset in, and somebody sitting there to help you as well. There's this last gallery here, A World Transformed. This meeting signifies for us the end of this terrible war, which threatens to destroy civilization and the world itself. I was saying to Alia, like we were making this video, hopefully the sound of our video, because we were whispering in our mics, but this whole museum has this serene look and feel with quotes, with videos. It's really a museum of reflection. It's a museum of reflection.
The armistice stops the fighting on the Western Front. 9 million soldiers and 10 million civilians have died. For peace begin. Especially a fearful France want to ensure Germany will not regain its strength. In Germany, people are already starving. American President Woodrow Wilson puts forth an idealistic 14-point peace plan that calls for creating a League of Nations.
All right, so we just spent the time on the second gallery. There's this reflection area. Now we're gonna head out, but we wanna very quickly for 5 minutes go to the ground floor or the basement and show you guys what that looks like before we close out this video. Thank you. So we're back on the glass walkway. You can see quite a few folks from the military visiting with their families. Such a great museum.
Most of the times when we're visiting museums, they're not as grand or as big or as
Well thought out.
Yeah, well put together. This one does really look like a lot of thought and work and finances went behind it, because it's like very neat, and we learned that this was made in 2006.
I actually said to Alia, I know a little bit about World War One,
Yeah.
but we spent maybe about 2 hours here, and now I know I'm walking out of here with more knowledge and appreciation.
When you experience or learn about the history or what the humans have gone through, we are a little bit shaken and a little bit sad too.
So after the shop, there's some restrooms here and an over there cafe. Okay, so right in front of the cafe is the steps to go down. So this is where all the battles happened, and now these are the images of peace. So you can see all the trenches there. And wow, you gotta go through the battle to get to the peace. They have the Bergman Family Gallery. You can see a lot of these artifacts. Very impressive collection of hats and helmets. So these are the miniatures. Okay, so after the surgical tools, communication. If you guys check out, we now do walk around with these mics, but we are whispering in this museum, so in case you don't hear us or if the sound wasn't optimal, even with the mics, we are trying to be very respectful of people around us, so these are whispers, and so that's why. But check this out. Shizunisa is getting upgraded. Now you can check out all these pistol collection, but in the back, you can see the machine guns. Quite impressive collection by this family. Check out the rifles, and each one of these are tagged. So this one is a British, up next are gas masks. Again, this was the Bergman Family Gallery. Okay, and here's a little bit about the foundation and the flame. They have this memorial tower here. So it's accessible by a passenger elevator and 45 steps to the observation deck. And total height is taller than Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty is 115 and this is 217. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're looking at the base of the tower.
Now we're gonna show you the cafe.
Yeah, by the way, did you check out?
Oh,
Yeah, they have done an incredible
Yeah.
job. So they found the scavenger hunt lying around.
do you guys want to take this for the road trip?
Okay, so they do have a cheese pizza for $8.99, beer wine around $6, hot chocolate $3.19, and a little soda snack place as well. So we got a pizza. Let's deliver this. It does smell pretty good though. Open. Ooh. This is the full look of the cafeteria, and the kids and all you are playing tic-tac-toe on the scavenger hunt.
Yay!
Isa, did you win? Let's take a quick round in their museum store. They have replica helmets for about $200. Some trenches. They have toys. And
What is
they do have these metal biplanes for about $119. And of course, pot holders, lids, and whatnot made of poppy. Alright, so we're gonna head out.
So I hope we were able to show you guys enough and do justice to what this museum has to offer. We thoroughly enjoyed, even though, like always, we didn't have enough time, but loved the whole experience. And we would highly recommend for you, if you are here, to come here and bring your kids, or even without kids. Just it's a very wholesome experience.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the
Next one.
next one.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Do go.
On an ending note, I would like to repeat a quote that I learned from this museum. The only way to win World War III is to prevent it.